Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim Watson speaking on Thursday, the 12th of May. Okay, looking at the euro dollar, and yesterday we saw a reasonable update, reversal from the inverted hammery sort of bar that we'd previously had there. All that did though is run into the 4-hourly 50, and we're seeing a rollover from there at the moment. Looking through this market, it's just a run through called daily pivot. It's a possibility this could roll on through. Um, it looks at the moment pretty weak from where it's sort of sitting here in this sort of shorter term. It's broken, it's sort of put a little lower high in, a bit flat though from that point of view. We'll see how we are. I mean, if it continues in this route, we could easily see the 34, maybe the 50, and even run into yesterday's lows. Any break of the upper side I might be interested in for the towards the 200 MA, yesterday's highs, and maybe pushing back and trying to make new highs towards that 1460 area. Okay, not much else to say on the euro there. Cable choppy here, remains range bound over the last 3 days in a relatively tightish range. Slightly higher high yesterday popped in, but it just ran into the resistance again of the daily 8 moving average, which seems to be holding it at the moment. Short term, not just, as I say, just chopped there at the moment. Looking at the 60-minute time frame, well, a similar picture to the euro from that point of view at the moment. So perhaps if we see any movement to the upside, breaking the highs of these hourly bars here, perhaps I'd be interested alongside back towards yesterday's highs. This does seem to be supply up in that area. It's moved fractionally in terms of hit the R1 yesterday, but that's excuse me, as far as it went. Looking at where we are today, maybe if it gets below that monthly pivot, could be looking back towards yesterday's lows again. Then there seems to be support around that 144 number. So that might be also be a sort of target area around that level, yesterday's lows. And it certainly looks bearish at the moment. Okay, dollar yen. It's well, funny old day yesterday. Sold off yesterday, solid, a sort of stick sandwich almost there. Pushed back up at the moment, rallying from the 4-hourly 21. To me at the moment, well, that's really following away. I did expect it to break yesterday. I put the trend line on there. I was expecting a break. It came a bit later in the afternoon, but I was expecting this almost push continuation back up here. Possibility it will run up towards the 109.10 area, maybe even further towards Tuesday's highs. Aussie dollar, okay, Aussie dollar selling off again today. Aussie seems probably one of the weaker ones, weaker pairings in terms of a lot of the movement that we're seeing here quite often. Again, commodity-based, China-based, and it's, as I say, coming through, heading, it's already put lower highs in. Again, yesterday I was waiting earlier in the morning for it to roll over. It did eventually roll over and chopped around quite a lot around that hourly 50, but we're now properly below that hourly 50, and it's looking pretty bearish even for potentially Tuesday's lows there and the S2 area. Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar's been recovering somewhat, and you know what I'm going to do now? Click the oil button, and you can see there you go, oil pushing up there, making back into the sort of the highs that we saw last week and beyond. Well, maybe this time we'll run back towards the $50 barrel. Interesting, the Canadian dollar is sort of lagging in terms of the retracement it had previously made, which suggests that some of this movement in effectively US dollar strength against the CAD is based on the fundamentals, and obviously the fires, etc., may be seeing, and the lower exports may be seeing a weaker CAD as opposed to the actual price of the oil totally. That is the correlation we've had before. So it's a little bit out of correlation, but this time it's because of the fact that they can't pump enough oil. They're losing a million, or about a third of their production a day. So a million barrels. So this is obviously affecting that one. There's the effect on the Canadian dollar. Even though the good news is there's good news for the price, they just can't pump it. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. Apart from the news, of course, today we've got the Bank of England inflation report coming out at 12 o'clock. We've got the MPC meeting, so we'll have the minutes, everything else, all at 12 o'clock. It's set to be a busy old 12 o'clock with data coming out there. And of course, at 12:45, the Bank of England governor will be speaking, and I'm sure Brexit will come into his talks and those warnings and everything else over the whole caboodle. So I expect volatility on cable leading into 12 o'clock, post 12 o'clock, 12:45, and maybe we'll see an aftermath following that thereafter. Right, okay, that's it for me. Hope you have a great day. Bye for now.